जय भगवान की जय, श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव बिंदु की जय, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Shishi Gauranga. Hari Bol. Acha, acha, acha.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So thank you once again for coming to this Saturday program. This is our fourth session, right? Fourth or fifth? Third. Okay, so mathematically you are correct. Thank you. I would like to welcome on behalf of our Bensalem Cultural Center. There are new faces. I would like to recognize them and welcome them. Okay, so let me go who is closer. Our Mike Prabhu. So maybe you all would have seen him. So very active in Temple ISKCON Philadelphia. So today we have this association here. So let's all welcome by chanting 3 times Hari Bol loudly. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu, for coming. And then I'll come to the last. I see Prabhu. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, Suresh Kanadia.
Suresh. Suresh Prabhu Mataji. Neela. Okay, Suresh Prabhu and Neela Mataji. Thank you very much for coming. So let's all welcome them 3 times. Hari Bol. Thank you very much. And my good old friend, yes, Mahesh Prabhu, he is from New Jersey. He's from Princeton. Okay, we have been friends for almost 30 years, childhood friends. Okay, so he's coming here for the first time. So let's all welcome him again 3 times. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Thank you, Mahesh Prabhu. Anybody else I missed? Okay. Lastly, so as I mentioned in our text message, right, today we have very, very special day. We have a special speaker, I'll come to him in a minute. But we also have these are special devotees. They are friends, they live in my community, where I stay. And we have been friends for almost 18, 19 years. Right? Before even we moved into the community, we were friends. very, very nice, pious people, vegetarian, good friends, and health-wise actually is my guru. So he guides me how to become very healthy. His name is Basavraj. Okay, so let's 3 times very bold to him, Basavraj. And his good family, Vijay Lakshmi, and where are 2 sons? Okay, so they are getting some prasadam. So his name is Sutirth and Samarth. So they are our family friends since many, many, many years. And today, specifically today, because next week their elder son is moving to university. So today is the last week they got the chance to serve Vaishnavas. They had this deep desire of serving Vaishnavas for a while. Okay, so now today they got the opportunity. Yeah, he's Sutir and he is Samarth. So they wanted to cook all by themselves. And offer it to Krishna and feed prasadam to Vaishnavas. Okay, so they didn't let any one of us get anything or cook anything. So a big Haribol to all of them, all the family. Haribol! 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 Thank you very much, Basaraju and family. So also as mentioned that we have our special guest, Gaura Sharan Prabhu. And I really thank him because in a very short span, like I just contacted him 2 days back and I requested, Prabhu, can you please come? He said, of course. I'm meeting him for the first time too, myself. So it was just phone conversation. Thank you very much, Prabhu. He is from New York Bhakti Center. Have you visited Bhakti Center any time? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay. So let me read out his introduction. So Gaura Sharan Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He discovered Krishna consciousness at the age of 18 while pursuing a Bachelor's of Engineering in Computer Science in Chennai. After 2-year tenure as a data mining specialist at Infosys, he fully embraced life as a brahmachari servant in 2007. Following a decade of service at ISKCON Chowpatty and Govardhana Eco Village, he transitioned to Bhakti Center in 2016. That's about what? How many years from then? 7 years. 7 years at Bhakti Center. Inspired by his spiritual master's directive to support New York Center's preaching mission. At Bhakti Center, he multi-faced different roles encompassing outreach, community development, teaching, mentorship, and deity worship. He has extensively studied Srila Prabhupada's works and has taught courses like Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav at ISKCON Chowpatty, Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapita TV, GEV, and Bhakti Center. He is also a regular contributor to Back to Godhead magazine and Bhagavad Pradipika. And also he did Govardhan Eco Village, so he's a very close associate of our Gauranga Prabhu. You all know Gauranga Prabhu, right? So let's all loudly welcome him by chanting 3 days Haribol. Haribol. Thank you very much, Prabhu. So he'll be taking the stage now and he'll be leading us into Srimad Bhagavatham. The same series we continue. Okay, thank you. And one more thing before I forget. Achyuta Priya Mataji, Arundhati Mata. Okay, so she was not able to make it for today's program because her mother-in-law is very serious, in serious condition. So please pray for her mother-in-law for the betterment. So this session will be dedicated to her. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let's do a little Jai Radha Madhava and then we can begin with this question. And would like to, the boys want to play the karata? Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Murlidhara, Radha Murlidhara, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Murlidhara, Radha Murlidhara, Shri Radhe, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Charastotras Shishimachila Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Yadai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. Thank you everyone. We really are very grateful and happy for your presence here, especially taking out time on a Saturday evening. In spite of knowing that I'm going to be here, you are confidently sitting here, so I'm very, very grateful for that. And thank you very much for Mukta Sangha Prabhu and all of you for inviting me and also keeping this program running. For all of those who serve and cook and come and attend, so I offer my obeisances to all of you for continuing this program and spreading Krishna consciousness in Bensalem. So thank you Mukta Sangha Prabhu, thank you very much, very grateful to you. And let's begin with the invocation for Srimad Bhagavatam and then start with the discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Namo Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashya Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Muktam karoti vachalam panguna grahate viram yatra bhadamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramanandamalam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Thank you all again for being here. So Mukta Sangha Prabhu told me that you all have begun to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam in order. So you have been going verse by verse and trying to discuss systematically. So I'll also continue in the same line. So in the overall Canto 1, we have like major sections. We'll be seeing initially the 6 questions that the sages are asking. That's what you all began, right? The Bhagavatam began with the chapter 1 began with the prelude. First 3 verses you spoke about the prelude. You saw the subject matter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam?
First thing is to know about the Lord.
Yes.
First verse.
Yes. Yes.
Second one is glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the third one is the invitation.
Invitation to come and enjoy. Also we can say it is Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. So in Vedic literature, all knowledge is like categorized in 3 ways. Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Sambandha means who am I? Who is God? What is my connection with Him? Right? This is the first category of knowledge. The knowledge that explains who are we, who is God or who is Krishna, and what is our relationship with Krishna, what is our relationship with God. That's the primary knowledge that one needs to understand. Then what happens once you understand who is God and what is your relationship with God, then you do something in that relationship, right? So never a relationship is like kind of passive. There is something happening actively in a relationship, right? So what do you do in any relationship? Like father, son, or mother, son, or daughters, family members, or relatives, or neighbors. What do you usually do? Serve. Like you have some kind of active service relationship. You do something for them. You don't always think it in terms of service, but you take care of your parents, or you take care of your children, you take care of your neighbors, you interact with them, you serve them in many ways. So once we know who is God, then what do? We also begin to do some service. So that is called as Abhideya. How to serve? What is the right way to serve? So that's what in the second verse we saw. That is, as Prabhu was saying, it's the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. In that it was said, one who hears about God, immediately God like Krishna will be manifested in their heart. So what is the process for knowing Krishna? Hearing. That is the Abhideya. And then once you hear nicely about Krishna regularly and properly from right sources, then what happens? The love for Krishna actually manifests in the heart. So that is the Prayojan. That is the result of the process of hearing. That was discussed in the 3rd verse, where we speak about Rasa. So that all those 3 things you have already seen. So in the introduction, you saw about the subject matter of the book, uniqueness of the book, blessings and invitation. Subject matter of the book is who? Supreme Absolute Truth, Krishna. So what is the particular word used in that first? Should I ask those who are speaking amongst each other? I have been a teacher for a very long time, so it's very difficult to take my teacher mode out of me. I have taught like courses where like I've been very strict and I've been like very systematic, so it's in my nature. So like kind of forgive me if I become like a teacher. So like what is the word that was used in the first verse for Supreme Absolute Truth? Swarat is independent. That's a good word. It's you remember the verse. Congratulations. But the word means actually independent. What is the word which means Supreme Absolute Truth? I'll give you a hint. The word truth is there. What is? Yes, Param Satya. Satyam Param Dhimahi. So that is what is about. We are going to meditate. We are going to know about Supreme Absolute Truth. So anyone would like to say, why are we bothered about the Supreme Absolute Truth? There are so many things to do, right? On a Saturday evening, why are we bothered about Supreme Absolute Truth? What is his age? Why we are all like of different ages, different parts of the world, and still we are all worried about Supreme Absolute Truth? What's the need?
Because we got frustrated.
We got frustrated.
Especially me.
He is the source of everything, because that's what the verse says, right? How does the verse start with? Janmadi Asyataha. Everything comes from Him. So we have also come from Him. Are you not interested to know your origins? from where you came, who created you, and what is all this world, where are we living, what are we doing, what's life all about. So this kind of an inquisitiveness is a sign of a refined human being. Right? Hare Krishna, welcome. So a refined human being is one who has some inquisitiveness, who has some questioning nature, like what is this, how does this functioning, right? Like, if we are not intelligent, then we don't care, we just go with the system. But if you are intelligent, what do you do? What is the first sign of intelligence?
To inquire.
Inquire in a very normal, like everyday language. What is the sign of intelligence? Question, especially doubt. Like if you're a teacher, you know, the most intelligent person probably in the class will put more questions, will ask more doubts. They think through anything that you say, they'll kind of try to analytically understand. So it's a sign of a refined human being to ask these questions. So that's why Bhagavatam is the book. If you are ever interested to know about Supreme Absolute Truth, Param Satya, if you want to know, which is the one place you can go? Bhagavatam. And that's why we are beginning to discuss about Bhagavatam, because this book clearly explains scientifically what is absolute truth. And that's why we are here discussing this book. And that was discussed by this verse, Janmadi Asyato. I'm not going to discuss everything in detail today. We will never get to the current verse if I start discussing all of these things. So the second verse was, what did I tell about second verse?
Dharma holds.
Yes, that's here. But I told three categories of knowledge. Abhideya, yes. Abhideya, what is Abhideya? What to do in that particular relationship? Service. And how do you serve Bhagavatam? Shushrusha, hearing attentively. How many of you are here now?
All we are hearing, but attention or attention.
That's why I'm asking, how many of you are here? It took a while to respond. Already we are all somewhere. It's very easy to go out and come in, right? Constantly. Like it's usually said that when you hear a speaker, the scientific research says you retain 20% of what a speaker says. And only God knows which 20%. Nobody can. So let's see at the end of the class which 20% you got. So attentively hearing is one important aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam. So try to forget everything. Who you are, you may be working, you may be busy with so many things, you may be a kid, you may be a girl, boy, husband, wife. For a while, park it outside, like how you all left your shoes outside, like that. Leave your extra identities outside. Here you are just your real self. You are a spirit soul trying to understand really who is God, what is my relationship with Him. If you don't have that kind of thing in your heart, like which is like seriousness in your heart, inquisitiveness, an open mind, then surely sitting here it will give some benefit to you, but it may not give you like optimal benefit. We all look for optimum results, right? We look for best deals. So best deal with Srimad Bhagavatam is be attentive. So that is the second verse. Serve Krishna attentively through hearing Bhagavatam attentively. And when that happens, then naturally you develop knowledge. So when knowledge comes, when spiritual knowledge comes, you really don't know how dangerous it is. Everything changes in life. Everything changes. It is the best thing that can happen to you. What is the best thing that can happen to you in life? You will understand spiritual knowledge. If you have that understanding of Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, that's the best thing that can happen in this material world to you. Nothing better than that actually. So you're all very fortunate, I'm very fortunate, we are all extremely fortunate because we have come in touch with Srila Prabhupada, who has come to the West to share this knowledge at the age of 70. Very ripe an age. He did not sleep for many years. Every day night he wrote these books because he wanted to gift each and every one of us this special knowledge. So if you don't have Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam at your home, please take that gift, because somebody has really worked hard to bring that gift to you. So buy that and try to read and understand. That is the best thing that can happen to you in life. Because this Bhagavatam is like the ripened fruit of the whole Vedic tree. There is lot of Vedic knowledge, like there are Upanishads, there are Puranas, so many things are there. Rig, Sama, Yajur and Atharva, so many things are there. But out of all of that, if you consider the Vedic knowledge as like a tree, there is one fruit which is ripened. That ripened fruit is Srimad Bhagavatam. And we are very fortunate to have that by the association of Srila Prabhupada and his followers, that they are arranging all these programs, taking trouble to give this knowledge to others. And this is who is speaking all these first 3 verses? Yes, Vyasadeva, who is the author, he is setting the context for the book. He is the author, he is telling what is the subject matter of my book, what is the purpose of my book, what is the benefit of my book. He has already told all those things. Now he is actually starting the narration. So here comes, the scene changes. Where are we now? Where are we now? We are not in Bensalem at least. Where are we now? Where are we? Canto 1. Okay, let's count all the answers. Bensalem, Canto 1, then hearing Bhagavatam class, then Naimisharanya. Who are all with us? All the sages. How many of them? 60,000. Room mein jagah nahi hoga. So who is leading those sages? Who are they hearing from? They have a better speaker. Trust me. They have a much better speaker. No comparison. They have Suta Goswami. So Suta Goswami is the speaker and there are 60,000 sages. Wonder what kind of audio system they have. So they have 60,000 sages sitting and listening to Suta Goswami. Okay, sages, they don't have any work to do, right? They know what is the best work to do, right? It's not that they don't have any work to do, they know the best work to do. What is the best work that one can do in human form of life?
Get out of this place.
Let's start a little sober. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So the best thing that one can do in human life is to ask about what is the purpose of life? Who is God? So that's why these sages are sitting there asking whom? Suta Goswami, asking the questions that they are going to ask now. So we are going to see that. So the first question they asked was a very universal question. Imagine the big heart that they have. What is the absolute and ultimate good for people in general? It's not that I want some benefit. I want benefit for everyone in the world. I want everyone to be benefited. That is their large heart that they have. Because they are sages, they are thinking about the welfare of others. So they are asking, what is the absolute and ultimate good for everyone in the world? What do you think it is? We didn't discuss that, right? Okay. That will come in the next chapter. Should I give spoilers? No. Okay. We'll not spoil your suspense. So the absolute and ultimate good will come in the next chapter. Hopefully Tarun will be there to listen to it. So and then they were saying, okay, we want to know the essence of all the scriptures. Then Suta Goswami say, read all the scriptures and then you will understand. They are saying, no, the age that is going to come is Kali Yuga. And people will not be interested to read much about spiritual knowledge. Were they correct?
Yes.
Yes, right? Were they absolutely correct?
Yes.
Yes. That proves they are sages, because they have really read all of our minds. We really don't like to read scriptures usually. Usually 99.99% of the people in this age of Kali, they are not interested about scriptures. So that is why they are saying, we are all like those people are not going to be so much interested. Better give the essence. Don't give them all kinds of stuff. Just better give the essence. And that's the second question they are saying. Please tell. There are so many scriptures. What is the essence? Because it's much easier, right? When you study for an examination, sometimes you ask, okay, what is going to come in the exam? Tell me that. Have you ever been a student like that? Like you just ask your friend, what is the most important thing? That surely makes it. In India, they have a custom, like you have question papers of the previous years, and then you go through all that. And you don't read anything else. You just read what gets you the marks. So likewise, the Sutta Goswami is being asked by sages. We know there are a lot of scriptures, we want the essence. And they also ask, and that lands us today in today's verse. That is the third question they are going to ask. What is the reason for Krishna's appearance? Why does he have to take all the trouble to appear in this material world? If he is Satyam Param Dhimahi, if that supreme absolute truth is Satyam Param Dhimahi, what else was told about him? He is independent, but one important thing, he has a place to stay. What was that told about in the first verse? You were saying something? No problem. Feel free to say. We are all family.
He came to attract the jivas towards him.
Yes.
And so that they go back.
They come back to him. They go back to the spiritual world. He has his own place. What is it called as? Goloka Vrindavan. So that is the spiritual world. Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. There is a place without any anxiety. It is eternal. This material world will one day or another, like in the future, it will not be there. It's a huge world, right? It's really a huge planet, but it will not be there one day. The whole thing will be gone. We see people take birth, die before our eyes all the time, but we never think we will die. We never think we will get old. But that is the nature of this world. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj was asked, what is the most wonderful thing? They say, hundreds and thousands of people are dying every day, but we think that will not happen to me. But this material world is temporary. One day we will all die, and this world itself will also be taken away. So no need to worry. We have a permanent place to go. We all have an eternal immigration. You can have an eternal immigration to the spiritual world. What is the process? What is the process? Bhakti. And specifically, hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the processes, because there are 9 processes of devotional service. What is the first one? It is hearing. So that's why these sages are so eager to hear about Krishna. What is the question they are asking today? No, don't read. Understand and tell me. What is the question they are asking?
What was the reason for Krishna appearing?
What is the reason for which Krishna is appearing? And how is he appearing? He is appearing from Devaki's womb. So he is taking birth as son of Mother Devaki and Vasudev. And that's why he is called as Vasudev or Devaki Nandan. So that is the question that they are asking. So it's a really nice verse. I forgot to put the verses on the slides. So if I recite, they will be able to recite back? Okay. If you all want to open in your phones, it is Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 12. Suta janasi bhadram te Suta janasi bhadram te Bhagavan Satvatam Pati Devakyam Vasudevasya Jato Yasya Chikirshaya Suta janasi bhadram te Bhagavan Satvatam Pati Devakyam Vasudevasya Jato Yasya Chikirshaya. So before getting into the purport, I would like all of you to take a moment, reflect for whatever we have spoken so far. What stood out to you? Means if there was one thing that you really kind of felt, oh, this stuck to my mind. Is there one thing? Few of us. Is there something that really that you heard that stuck with you?
The first 3 verses cover Sambandha, Abhidaya and
Prayojana. Thank you. The first 3 verses cover those 3 topics, the essence of all Vedic literature. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else?
So hearing is the most important.
Hearing,
Start with.
yes, hearing is the most important way to acquire spiritual knowledge. Hearing about Krishna. So you can pick up a book or Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada, read that you're hearing personally from Srila Prabhupada. Night 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, he was sitting alone and recording. So you're spending alone time with Srila Prabhupada. So when you read his books, you're personally hearing from him. So that is very, very potent. So pick up a book and read. Do yourself a favor, pick up a book like Bhagavad Gita as it is or Srimad Bhagavatam. Try to read something. And also try to chant some names of Krishna, especially the Hare Krishna mantra every day. On the beats, one if you're already chanting for many years, my obeisances to you. If you're yet to begin, please begin the process. You will become completely different. You will make the best gift to yourself. You will offer the best gift to yourself if you begin to chant Hare Krishna. It does not take much time. Just takes 5 to 8 minutes for one round. And to read a purport, it takes like few minutes. Very easy with all the technological gadgets. You can easily find a purport of Prabhupada and read, and it will speak to you. It will change you, transform your life, and we are guaranteed for that. So begin to chant the Hare Krishna mantra and pick up a book like Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam and try to read. Whatever age you are, you will do a great help to yourself. And anybody else?
Not just hearing, but attentively.
Attentively hearing. Thank you. That was very, very important in the second verse. Attentive hearing about Krishna. Anything else?
Vrindavan is eternal.
And the
Other planets will be destroyed one day.
one day. True. Goloka Vrindavan is eternal. How many of you would like to go there? Right? We are somewhere in the process. And what is the process? Hearing attentively about Krishna is the process. Jada taklif mushkil nahi hai. It's a very easy process. And then let's read the purport of Srila Prabhupada. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation to the 12th verse I am reading. All blessings upon you, O Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as a son of Vasudeva. I'm just going to read a little bit of the purport. Those who are already very much acquainted to reading Prabhupada's books, I'll ask you some questions. So let's read the first 3 lines. Bhagavan means the Almighty God, who is the controller of all opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge and renunciation. Listen attentively, I'm going to ask you a question. He is the protector of his pure devotees. Who is he? He is the protector of his pure devotees. Although God is equally disposed to everyone, He is equally disposed to everyone, He is especially inclined to His devotees. He is equal to everyone, but He is especially inclined to His devotees. Sat means absolute truth. And persons who are servitors of the absolute truth are called Sattvatas. What is Prabhupada discussing in these 5 lines? Look at the verse, the Sanskrit, if you have a book with you, if you have something. See what word he is discussing about. What is he discussing? Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati. So because the sages told God is actually Sattvatam Pati, Lord of his devotees. So that is why Prabhupada is, for a few lines he is speaking, why Krishna is specially inclined towards his devotees. So when you read a purport, see where is it connecting with the verse. It's not randomly Prabhupada is speaking. He is taking one word Sattvatam from the verse and he is trying to expand it by explaining why are they Sattvatam and why is Krishna being called as Sattvatam Pati. And then the personality of Godhead who protects such pure devotees is known as the protector of the Sattvatas, that is Sattvatam Pati. And then there is a word he is going to speak, that is Bhadram Te, blessings upon you, indicates the sage's anxiety to know absolute truth from the speaker. Why are they in anxiety? One very valid reason, Kali Yuga is coming, so they are anxious. But they are very anxious about the speaker. They want to know from that speaker the absolute truth. What happened with their previous speaker? Did anyone discuss the previous story? Before Suta Goswami, what happened to the previous speaker?
I mean, he heard from Sukadeva Goswami.
No, actually all these sages were hearing from Suta Goswami's father, whose name is Romaharshan Suta, Romaharshana. So because he was killed because of his misbehavior, then they established Suta Goswami, who is the son of Romaharshan, as the speaker. So they are now giving blessings. Our previous speaker, we blessed him, but he actually died in between. We could not complete the recitation with him. So we give you all blessings. Bhadram te, please live long. Speak complete Bhagavatam. Don't go away in between like your father. Bhadram te, we give you all our blessings to you. Long life. Have a long life to speak complete Bhagavatam to us. That is why they are in anxiety to hear from, specifically from the speaker. They are blessing Bhadram te, please live long. Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared to Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the symbol of transcendental position wherein the appearance of the Supreme Lord takes place. What is Prabhupada speaking about? He is speaking, if we want Krishna in our hearts, we need to clean our hearts. How will you clean your heart? By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the heart becomes cleansed. How? What is the connection?
Because when we chant the Hare Krishna and we hear the words of the chant Hare Krishna, it enters through our ears and then it reaches to our heart, and then Krishna manifests in our heart and cleanses of the dirt that we have from millions of words.
Amazing, amazing. Because our mind is very subtle. Because the soul is eternally pure. It does not have any problem. Soul is eternally pure and eternally alive. Body is matter. It is already dead. It's just going around because the soul is inside. It's a dead matter. It is like this table. My body is like this table, but it is moving, it is acting, it is growing, it is dwindling because of the presence of the soul. The moment the soul will go away, my body will be thrown away in a few hours. Nobody will keep it. Because it is already dead, it's always dead. Matter by nature is dead. So what is that is the problem then? Soul is eternally pure, matter is, uska to kuch ho hi nahi sakta, wo to it's always dead, it is not conscious. But where is the problem? Why is our struggle? It's the mind, the subtle body. And the subtle body is, that is why we call it subtle, because it is sukshma, it is subtle. So what is the subtlest element of the material nature? Pancha Mahabhut sune? Have you heard of Pancha Mahabhut? What is the subtlest of the Pancha Mahabhut? Okay, first someone count me the Pancha Mahabhut. Kids? What are the 5 gross elements that the material nature is made up of? Fire, earth, wind, we can say air, okay. Water, ether or space, yes. What is the most subtlest of these 5? Yourself? So, what is your name?
Satir.
Satir, yes. Space, yeah. Space is the most subtlest. Ether is the most subtlest. And what is the quality of the ether? What is one sense object that it has? What is one quality of the ether? It takes space. Apart from that, what is one quality of space? Distinct quality of space.
Shabda.
Shabda. Who told? Okay, yeah, Shabda. It creates sound. So that is the only thing you can experience when you are in outer space. It has space. It has sound. And it does not. You cannot touch it. You cannot see it. You cannot taste it. So there's no other quality. The only subtlest, the subtlest element ether has only one quality, and that is what is sound. So the closest you can get to the mind is through sound. So sound is the last thing that goes away when the body is dying. All other organs start shutting down. Hearing, that is ears, the hearing is the last thing to go away, because Krishna is giving us a last opportunity. If we can hear Hare Krishna at that moment and remember, then we have an opportunity. Even at the last moment, the last thing that goes off is hearing. So I'll come to you, Taran. Just a minute, I'll complete my point and I'm coming to you. So mind is subtlest, sound is subtlest. That's why Krishna appears in the form of Sound. What is that sound that Krishna has appeared in this Kali Yuga specifically? Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So when we chant that Hare Krishna mantra, that sound enters into our ears. That's why we say attentive, because how many of you are here now? So when you are attentive, you actually hear and it goes inside. When you are not attentive, it does not go inside. So when you are attentive to Hare Krishna mantra, that means you are inviting Krishna inside. So then your mind becomes cleansed. And when the mind is clean, the soul is already clean, the mind becomes cleansed, then you see truth, you see reality. Now what we see is colored by the three modes. So I stop there. Yes, Tarun.
So, Prabhuji, you said that when you're dying, the last thing that goes out is sound. But what if you're deaf?
Oh, okay.
What is this question?
The children actually don't shy away from asking real questions. Means even if that came to any of the adults' mind, they would not ask it. But I really appreciate him asking. So the only answer I have is that is unfortunate. That's the only thing we can say. It is little unfortunate that they are not able to hear from before. So we all can learn to appreciate the ability to hear that we have. It is in Tamil. I'm not sure how many of you speak that language. It's said it's very rare to get a human body, human life. But even in human life, it's very rare to get a body without any deformity. So it's very rare to get a human birth. But even among even after having a human birth, it's very rare to get a deformity. And that's why we need to practice devotional service from a young age, because those deformities, if not from birth, they'll manifest in old age. I'm growing old, so I can clearly see that. So you lose your abilities very much. So it's better to begin devotional service when we are young, because you can hear nicely, you can see nicely, you can work hard for Krishna, you can use your senses in Krishna service. As we grow old, our senses become weak. So before that happens, if we train ourselves, then in spite of having a weakened senses, our consciousness will be clear. So Krishna says in the chapter 7, 29th verse, Jara Marana Vana, even at the time of death, those people who have practiced bhakti for a long time, their consciousness will be fixed. Even at the time of death, their consciousness will be fixed. And they can be able to take shelter of Krishna. So that is why we need to practice from young days. And if they have any physical deformity, there may be other ways to help. They may be empowered in other ways into seeing in other ways. So whatever we have practiced through our life, that's what will help us. The last moment thing is there. But what you have developed, what you have actually practiced throughout your life, that's what you will be remembering internally. Because external hearing is one thing, but our mind also has an internal thing. How many of you dream at night? Do you hear in your dreams people speaking? Do you see things? Do you walk? Do you run? Do you sleep? Even in dreams? Sometimes. Do you dream inside your dream? That too happens. So all these subtle things are already there in the mind. There is an external ear, but there is an internal sense of hearing also. Even those people who are externally deaf will be able to hear sounds in their dreams. So that's another scientific research. So if they had some devotional interaction, then that will manifest in their minds at the end, if not an external hearing. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
But, Prabhu,
Yes.
may I ask you? So truly, now that I just got somebody who is deaf, they cannot hear, but they can see, and maybe that's how they may have more.
But if that's, say for example, Ramanujacharya, there is a Acharya in Shiva Vaishnavism. So one of his disciples go and ask him, what if you say in the Bhagavad Gita that Ma Manusmara, and also we say at the end, whatever you remember, that's what happens. Antakalecha Mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. So at the end, whatever you think, that's what happens. So what if I become unconscious? I go to coma and I die. what will happen to me? I'll not be able to remember Krishna. He quotes a verse from the Kurma Puran where Krishna says, when a devotee practicing bhakti for a long time throughout his life, whether he is able to remember me or not at the end of his life is not a problem. I will remember whatever he has done. He does not need to remember me. I will be remembering him. Even if he goes through a position where he is unconscious at the time of passing, that's not a problem because I have noted down all the devotion service. What is his love for me in his heart? I know that. I'll reciprocate accordingly. And Ramanujacharya says that verse is for people who don't practice anything through their lives. If at the last moment of their life, whatever they remember, that's what will be their future. If they are fortunate enough to remember Krishna, that is also possible. They'll have some benefit. What happened to Achamil? Like that. But usually it's very rare case. So that's not for the regular practitioners. Krishna is going to remember. So today we put all our efforts to remember Krishna and serve. We don't need to worry about anything going back to him. He will take us. That's what Krishna says in 12.7 also. Maya Veshita Mano Imam Nitya Yukta Upasate. So I personally, whoever is remembering me so much, Mrityu Samsara Sagarat Bhavami Na Chirat Parta, I come and actually lift them from the ocean of birth and death. They don't need to. All they have to is continue to practice in their life. Krishna will come and lift us at the end.
Plus Prabhupada.
Of course. True. Are we in line, Prabhu? Mukta Sangha Prabhu? I don't know where I'm going. But so this is the verse that we wanted to discuss today. And then the next thing that how much time am I left with? 8 minutes? Okay. So the next verse that they're going to speak is, they're very eager to hear. Tanna shushrushamananam arhasi anganu varnitum yasyavataro bhutanam kshemayacha bhavayacha. Translation of Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous teachers, for one is uplifted both by speaking and by hearing. What are they saying? Sutta Goswami, don't think, Arey, you people are all too eager to hear. मैं तो थक गया हूँ, कितना बोलूँगा मैं? एक आदमी, आप तो, you are 60,000 people, but I am one person. I have to speak to all of you and I have to speak all the time. Who's going to do that? He's saying, no, don't worry about that. By speaking, you will be benefited. By hearing, we will be benefited. Think of our benefit. Think of our benefit. All our lives will become perfect if you speak about Krishna and if we can hear about Krishna. Both the speaker and the listeners both actually gain benefit by hearing and speaking about Krishna. Because one who is hearing attentively, because of his humility, Krishna will be pleased, because sitting down and hearing from someone takes humility. It's not very easy. It's the toughest thing to do. Speaking is a very attractive thing. All of us have some ego, so we would like to be the center of attraction and speak. And so many people sitting to hear is an intoxication. But to sit and listen is actually, it takes humility. So because one is humble enough to sit and attentively hear and take Krishna inside, Krishna is very pleased with him. If the one who is speaking, if he is actually very humble and he thinks, I am sharing the knowledge given by the previous teachers. I am not speaking from my own intelligence. What did I know? Om Ajnana Timirandasya. We are born into ignorance. I had no idea before coming across Srila Prabhupada. So when we understand, whatever I possess is actually Krishna's knowledge passed down by the previous teachers, and with that humility, when we are trying to share, there will be new realizations and revelations while speaking. So that will nourish the speaker. That will make them attached to Krishna. So at the end of a satsang, both the speaker and the listeners, they all become attached to Krishna. They all become attracted to Krishna. They all become dedicated to Krishna. Their love for Krishna increases. So that is the purpose. So he is saying we are all very eager to hear about Krishna because that is the real good and ultimate benefit for all living entities. So what is the ultimate good and ultimate betterment that can happen to all of us? Hearing about Krishna in our lives. If we have an opportunity to hear about Krishna, to speak about Krishna, to share Krishna, to read about Krishna, to chant Krishna's names, that is our best opportunity to uplift our life, to better our life. So we always see, right? Sometimes I see these ads. Time to up the game of life. Have you ever seen these things? Like, time to up the game of life. So it is time to up the game of our life, the quality of our life. It's time to up the quality of our life by hearing about Krishna, by chanting Krishna's name. It's not very difficult. You will not lose anything. All that you have to invest is little time. And anyway, do we care for our time all the time? We waste it so many ways, right? It's just like, time is very valuable. When something is important, we say, oh, I don't have time. And then we end up scrolling some screen for like 2 hours, 3 hours. Shorts, reels, it just goes on. 2 hours, it just goes by. No value to time. But when you say somebody to chant for 5 minutes, they're like, oh, I don't have time. You don't know how busy I am. Like, I just don't have any time. You don't know how busy I am. So that's how everybody reacts. We are too busy, or we are too comfortable, or we are too proud to chant Krishna's names. That is the modern disease. Either people say they're honestly busy, too busy, or they are too comfortable. Everything is comfortable, so they don't think there is a need for any spiritual advancement. Or they are too proud. They think they know everything. They got everything together. So then what happens when somebody is too busy or too proud or too comfortable, then they won't understand the importance of spiritual life. So that's why sometimes then we have things happening in our lives. Then we understand, oh, I need Krishna. So when everything is comfortable, let's make it more comfortable by turning towards Krishna. When everything is busy, let's make some time for Krishna, then we will actually become peaceful. If you're too proud, please understand there is more in this world that we don't know. So by knowing about Krishna, we'll actually know everything. You will have a reason to be really proud, positively proud when you know Krishna, because Krishna is everything. When you know Krishna, you will know everything. So if you really want to know everything, then know Krishna. So probably the last verse for the day. So the sages are saying, let's recite together. I'm going to recite 1.1.14 if you want to pull it up on your phone. 1.1.14. Apannah samsmritim ghoram, apannah samsmritim ghoram, yannama vivasho grinan, yannama vivasho grinan, tatas sadyo vimuccheta, tatas sadyo vimuccheta, yadbhibeti swayam bhayam, आपन्नः संस्मृतिं घोराम् यन्नाम विवशो गृह्णन् ततः सद्यो विमुच्येत यद्भिवेति स्वयं भयम्. Translation: living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed. They can be freed immediately. The living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting. They can be freed immediately even by unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna. So the living beings who are entangled in the complicated mesh of birth and death can be relieved immediately by chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. So we don't need to fear if we are chanting Hare Krishna for anything, especially death. We will be completely confident in Krishna's protection. So that is why Prabhupada is writing, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. What is it? The name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. There is no difference at all. Anyone can take advantage of the holy names of Lord Krishna. Who can take advantage? Anyone can take advantage. Even in the midst of the greatest dangers. One of the greatest danger one can encounter is death. So anyone can take shelter of Krishna's holy names. Even at the midst of greatest dangers, the transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death. So the holy name of Krishna can offer greatest benefit. It can offer immediate freedom from so many things. Immediately it can improve the quality of our lives. And it can ultimately also improve the quality of our lives. How many of your quality of life has increased immediately, speaking on a day-to-day basis, by chanting Hare Krishna and coming to devotion service? How many of your daily life has improved? How has it improved?
My wife left me.
Anybody else?
Trying to be stable and focused, not get agitated by the outside circumstances. Yeah.
More composed, more
mature,
together,
stable,
internally stable, yes?
The modes of passion and ignorance decrease.
Absolutely. The effect of the modes of passion and ignorance decrease. That means there is an increase in the mode of goodness. There is increase in knowledge and happiness. That's what happens with the onset of mode of goodness.
Comparison has reduced.
Comparison with others, the anxiety, the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Oh, they are in Dubai, they are in Hong Kong, they are in Australia, Sydney, Melbourne, they are in Las Vegas. So that fear of missing out has naturally come down. We understand where I am, I can be happy. I don't need to go somewhere to be happy. What comes in the picture may not be the best way, because everyone smiles in a picture. Have you noticed? People are like intensely fighting in a marriage on something, and then you tell, hey, come pose for marriage. They're like immediately their emotions. You cannot trust a picture and understand what is the real emotion of a person, how happy they are. Everybody smiles in a picture, but after the picture, what happens is the real story. So these are practical benefits of actually chanting Hare Krishna, and that chanting is very easy to do, and just by doing it we can gain a lot of benefits. You're about to say something? Okay.
You forgive others quite easily,
Yes.
and you accept the situation as it comes on a daily basis. So
Really?
I recently had, I had to tell you, my husband passed away recently.
Our prayers
So,
for him. Hare Krishna.
Couple of times.
Let us stand once for him. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, please continue.
So accepting the situation, a lot of things, material things you have to deal with on a daily basis. So you become stronger by, serving Krishna. And anything you do, growing vegetables or flowers or anything you do, that is meant for Krishna. It's not for me, it's all for Krishna. We take care of the house for Krishna. Whatever, anything that is not disagreeable to you, you try to understand, okay, it should have been worse, but I'm trying to handle it in a better way. This is from Krishna, he won't do anything bad to me.
Thank you. That's a deep realization. Yat karoshi yadarshnashi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madararpanam. Just by bringing Krishna into our lives, whatever we do can become devotional service. And this is the reality of life. We all came alone, we will all go alone one day. But it's in between we have a lot of people which support we really need. Sometimes the reality of life can be difficult. But having Krishna, who's our eternal friend, can really help each and every one of us in our lives. So thank you for sharing your, being vulnerable and sharing your realization, and we hope you have all the support and care, not just from Krishna, from others also in your life. So thank you very much for sharing. Anyone else? We are kind of... Hare Krishna.
Yeah, speak through.
you want to share something?
Hare Krishna.
You can speak.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Like we always hear that devotees should be like honeybee, not like a fly. So when we have a quality chanting, we start seeing only good in others. It happens only by chanting Krishna's holiness, quality chanting. Other time, if you are not chanting, if you are not habituated to chant, we see only bad thing. So this is unique result of chanting.
That's a deep realization that you share. It makes things much easier to live in this world. That's surely an experience for me also. Anybody else?
It made me more conscious about. It made me more conscious about how I treat people or how I behave. The actions, whatever I do throughout the day, it started improving. Like before, I would just randomly do whatever I felt like doing. But then once, like the chanting started every day, then it was more like, is this right to do or not?
Is this necessary?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like kind of clarity. That's an onset of mode of goodness. As soon as you get mode of goodness, you're like discerning. You don't do whatever comes to your mind. You kind of stop and ask, okay, is this necessary? Is this helpful to me? Is this beneficial? Is this worth investing my time into? So thank you. That's an important thing. That surely improves your quality of life actually. Because most of the times, like how many students have this experience? You know there is a homework that is pending. You watch a soccer match. You go play with your friends. You do everything under the sun, and then you realize, oh, tomorrow morning, and then you sit at 11 to actually do the homework. And most of us live life in that mode, not just when you're students, even after that also. Everything important you postpone. That's called as the disease of procrastination. Everything important, but and where their time is going, they are not very aware, conscious. So with chanting, that consciousness can improve, and we can improve the quality of life. That is just an immediate, but the ultimate benefit of chanting is that our love for Krishna actually develops and attains maturity. So I am extremely grateful for all of your presence. I hope I contributed in some way to the understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam that is already happening here. If there is any mistake, please forgive me. That's from my part. But I tried to transmit whatever I have heard from my teachers and Srila Prabhupada and all the other devotees in a way that was inspired in my heart. So thank you very much for this. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Sharan
Jai. His grace Gaura Sharan Prabhu ki jai. So before we end this session, if you have any questions, Prabhuji is available for 5-10. Any questions, or if you want to share realizations, so please be quick, 1 or 2 minutes max, so that everybody can be covered.
Prabhu, to explain generally to somebody, not a devotee, general population, how do I explain spirituality? I don't want to bring Krishna into their life. They may be of different religion, Jewish or Christian, or any other religious people. But how do I, without offending someone, how do I tell them what is spirituality?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because if you cannot bring the details of our practice as such, then you need to find a common ground that you can appreciate in what they are already practicing. It also depends on how much spiritual interest they have and how much they practice their own like what you call method of worship or practice. If you know a common ground about God is there, if they are like theistic people and they practice a religion in which God is emphasized, So then you can speak about that, you can speak about mindfulness, you can speak about quality of life being improved through the practice of spirituality, being kind, compassionate. These kind of universal values could be spoken with them on a discussion level to strike a common ground. Because it is said, even a dog can realize or recognize his master, whether he wears a pajama or whether he wears a coat and suit, and the dress may change, but the dog still realizes the master. So similarly, God may be in different forms and ways. He may be worshipped in other religions. If we can see the essence, then we can appreciate and encourage them. If they are open for different understanding, then we can share what we know. If they are not open to that, at least we can encourage in what they are already doing, and we should be able to see that God is being worshipped in that way and be able to kind of encourage them. If they are willing to receive the knowledge that we have specifically, then we can share with them more about that. Does that make sense to your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something you
Sutirtha, yes.
Mike is too.
No, it's recording.
No, so
We are giving you a special experience.
no, so you said you were saying that we are dead, right? That's what you said earlier, and I'm still thinking about it. It's still like I don't know. For some
When I
reason,
said that we are dead, that means like the body, the matter is like actually like does not have life. The soul is living in the body. That is where this body is like moving and speaking and talking and all of those things. The moment, what is death then? When do you call a person dead?
the heart stops beating.
And the heart stops beating medically. Spiritually, or from the spiritual perspective, what do we understand is like the soul actually leaves the body. Because the heart could be sometimes made to beat artificially also. That's when we call a person as like, there is no more reason for him being kept alive because the consciousness is not going to be revived. So we do go through all these experiences. So external, medically also you may make the heart beat, but that does not just make the person alive and think and contribute and contemplate the way we are doing as living human beings. So that presence of the soul, when it leaves the body, then the body becomes dead body. So that's why I was saying matter is always actually in that sense dead, inactive. I don't want to use that strong word dead. I maybe in the flow I used it, but what I meant is matter is inactive.
I think like as a child I was taught that everything has God in it, right? So why would you think that everything is dead in that sense? If everything has God.
Everything has God in it. However, matter by definition, like if you consider earth, water, air, fire, ether, the presence of God is there. The God's energy is there in upkeeping it. However, by nature, like by its constitution, it is actually inactive. It does not say this table if you just leave it, or if this building, if we abandon it, what will happen to the building? It will naturally collapse. An unused building, an abandoned building naturally collapses because there is no soul to keep it up. Even we being there in a place upkeeps the place. The moment you leave the place, ideally the place should be just as we leave it. But it's not the case, because matter cannot maintain itself by itself. Even though God is present, He is not actively present in the way that He is interacting as super soul in our hearts. Because He needs to be there for any existence. However, He is not interacting the way He interacts in our hearts as super soul. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I understand.
Anybody else?
If nobody asks questions, then Tarun needs to ask.
Tarun, go.
No, I'm just joking.
I have one.
Yeah.
I think throughout, like today, you were talking about how there's a certain way to reach this eternal place, right? And it seems that you mentioned Krishna throughout this whole speech, right? I am not someone who's, a big follower of Hare Krishna and, ISKCON. So why is it only that this is the only way that you have mentioned? Is there another way? And I know they talked about other religions. So is there really another way to reach this, or is there only one path?
See, God is universal, and the nature of human beings are very different. So there can be different paths to get to God. But what we are trying to here understand is like there is a certain level of understanding of God that we are trying to share, which seems to be like complete when you compare it with the details that is available in other paths. So if you think saying Krishna, giving a name tag to Supreme Absolute Truth Krishna makes it difficult to comprehend. That is why Bhagavatam starts with Satyam Param Dhimahi and describes all the qualities of it. From him everything comes, from whom everything goes back. He is independent, he is spiritual, and he is above all human beings, like that. So these kind of universal principles are discussed about God. So, and then we discuss this word Bhagavan in detail. Like one who is the supreme has 6 opulences. He has all the strength, all the wealth, all beauty, all fame, all renunciation. In this way, he bodily strength. So he has all these things. And the word Krishna means all attractive. So God must be all attractive in the sense he possesses all the opulences and he is all attractive. So the Sanskrit translation for that word all attractive is Krishna. Because we are in an Indian community, we feel like he's like kind of a known God, so how can he be the Supreme Lord? But whoever is the Supreme, our question is, do we accept there is a Supreme? There is one Supreme who is above everyone. And we are giving a name, Krishna. Somebody may be calling him as Allah, somebody may be calling him as Christ, somebody may be calling him as Jehovah and whatever. But still they are all worshipping that same Supreme. But we do have certain information about that Supreme in the Vedic literature. What is he like? What does he do? What are his personal life about? Because we all have personal lives, professional lives. So what about God? Will he not like to have a personal life? Is all his headache is about maintaining us, maintaining this world, taking care of us? Does he bother to have a personal life? What is his personal life, if so, if it is there? So that description, that detail of his personal life is available in Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what sets it apart from the available religious literature in the world. Because most of the other literature speaks about he's a maintainer, he's a provider, he punishes, he needs to be feared about, fear of God and all those things. But they never say how does God look? What does he do? What does he do in his personal life? So that detail is available in the Bhagavatam. And if you have a doubt, you engage in an experiment and you prove a theory. So similarly, the experiment here is chant Hare Krishna, it will be revealed in your heart. So that means it's scientific. Because we are saying this is a process, you follow this, this will happen. And that happens to people of different genders, sexes, country, race, religion, ethnicity, all kinds of different people come and do the same thing and experience a similar effect. So that means it is science, right? You have an hypothesis, you do an experiment, then you confirm a theory. So we are saying God is Krishna, his names are non-different from him. If you chant his names, you will experience him in your heart and your mind will become clear. Do this experiment for a while, it will not create any loss for you personally speaking. And that's how I was a student, as somebody told me, I thought, okay, who can do anything to me? But I underestimated the power of the mantra. But after 6 months, I could see change in me. So that's when I got convinced. I did not speak to any single person. I only chanted this mantra and read the books. And already I felt a difference after 6 to 8 months. So the idea is, the Supreme is universal. We are giving him a name, Krishna. If that's a problem for you, you can at least assume or accept that there is a Supreme, one Supreme. This is one way for it. Experience it. If it makes sense to you, then what's the problem? Thank you. I hope, because it's a big topic, I hope I kind of addressed it.
Rajesh, going to.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for a very beautiful class. And I had like a question, when we try to, going to the people with anything like Srimad Bhagavatham, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, or something the preaching or something the Krishna consciousness distribution something about. The people, you already told this like starting the class, it's more than 99% people doesn't want it, doesn't want to hear about it. Yes, exactly correct. The Bhagavatam is exactly all the essence is right. But when people doesn't want to hear, then how do we handle this thing? And is anything there really for that? Look like Krishna is more attractive, everything is there. The six opulence is there. Is it anything we can talk about this, that those people, they can interested more about this? Thank you.
A devotee is more compassionate than God, than the Lord, Supreme Lord. So his duty is to devise ways. I'm repeating what Prabhupada writes in one of the purpose. He says he devises ways to actually attract people who are even not so interested in the Supreme Lord towards him. They devise ways. Like prasad is one very practical way. You give a book, probably most people will not take it. But you give a gulab jamun, probably most people will take it. So we need to understand how to actually make people interested in devotional service. We should be available, and if at all their life they kind of awaken and understand, oh, I need some spiritual knowledge, we should be available. And we should also go and reach out and knock on people's doors, or like knock on people's phone through various ways. That's where more people are sitting today. Or some way or other get their attention and explain to them in a way, because bhakti has something to offer to every single person in this world. If we know that, we have the conviction, and if we have the maturity to see how can I make this person come close to Krishna. May not be the way I expect him to, but what is the way that he can actually take. Maybe I want him to chant immediately Hare Krishna and take a Bhagavad Gita and read. Maybe he is not ready for it. Can I bring him one step closer from where he is now towards Krishna? So that needs a lot of compassion and effort and thoughtfulness and maturity, hard work, gallons of blood. So if you really want to help everyone, then you cannot have one formula that fits everyone and expect everyone to come and take the formula. Then you need to branch out and find ways. So being firmly rooted personally in spiritual practice and branching out with compassion, when we are all bound together as devotees, then each one has different abilities, talents to offer. So in the association together, then we can make ways. Okay, what can we do to help people? To make Krishna attractive. Krishna is all attractive. But still the duty of a devotee is to make him attractive to the conditioned soul, because it's not the iron's problem. It's not the magnet's problem. It's the iron's problem. The iron is rusted. Magnet is having the ability to attract, but the iron is covered with rust. How can we remove the rust? So gradually it goes. Gradually. So we are available for people who are immediately ready to take, and we are getting other people ready gradually by giving prasad, by being nice to them, by being friends with them, and various other ways. Introducing kids, the best way to introduce a person is when they are actually very small, when they don't understand what's going on. Give them prasad, give them a nice experience in bhakti, that will stay with them, that will come out when they are actually growing up, hopefully.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Anybody else? Final countdown. 3, 2, 1. Tarun, you have a question?
No.
Thank you very much, Gaura Sharan Prabhu, for sharing such a wonderful practice. You can all apply, right? So we can start chanting from today. There is a buyback policy also. After 2 months, if it doesn't work, you can chanting beats, whatever. If you don't have chanting beats, I have. You can collect from me. Okay, start. It takes hardly 5 to 7 minutes per day. I guess we all have 5 to 7 minutes, right, per day. So please do that. Chant. Those are chanting 1 round, chant more rounds. Those are chanting more rounds, 16 rounds. That is the recommended number of rounds initiated devotees. So please chant more. And today, yes, true.
After you
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Now, if you want to make your family life beautiful, sit together and do kirtan. Sit together, read about Krishna. Sit together with your kids and ask them some deep questions about life. Don't just give them money. That will go. That might stay with them. That may go away and leave them in the future. They will make more money. Teach them, apart from just giving money, teach them something very deep which will stay with them till the end of their lives. Till the last moment. Krishna is that one person or thing. That holy name is that one thing that will remain with them till the end of their lives. When you and me will not be there with our kids, Krishna will be there. Because it's pretty possible that we may not be there to see them at the end. But Krishna will be there to help them. So if you really love your kids, just encourage them in simple practices. It may not be very, you don't need to force them. Please don't force them. Encourage them and engage in conversations which are like deep and nice and like kind of deep. Makes them thoughtful. So don't force them to chant, but make it entertaining to chant. Make it interesting to chant. Sit together and sing, sit together and chant, sit together and speak, prasad like that. Have nice conversations with your kids. Spend the time. Don't just leave them alone with gadgets. That's the worst thing that can happen to a kid. Spend your time, if you have, don't spend your time with the gadgets, spend your time with the kids, please. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a wonderful lecture. So let's all chant Hari Bol loudly once. Hari Bol. So as we
you all can bless me, so I can also chant better and make my heart worthy for Krishna to enter. So that will be the blessing that you all can give me, that my chanting can also get better.
Thank you. So as you mentioned, sorry?
Come back again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's not going anywhere.
I just live very close by New York City.
It is close by. So as he was mentioning, right, how powerful it would be. So, and definitely not with the gadgets for the kids. We all see that, like in any assembly, be it spiritual or material assembly, we always engage kids with gadgets. That is the most dangerous. And we also discussed once in one of our classes that to be real austere, right, we should avoid these 6 things, if you can, per day, at least one day. Avoid these 6 things. What are those 6 things? As we have all these anarthas, things, right? Similarly, we have 6 dangerous elements in this world, okay, which we have to avoid. Just try for one day, okay? Avoid watching Facebook, Twitter, YouTube,
WhatsApp.
Avoid these 6 things. For one day, you are successful. And that can be achieved only by chanting. By force, you cannot achieve. I challenge you. Okay, only by chanting, we can control our mind and desires. Okay, so thank you very much again. As you all know that coming months, we have many festivals lined up. Right? One big such festival is the third verse, what we learned. What is the third verse? Third question. What is the third question we learned today?
Why
Why did Krishna appear in the womb of Devaki? So that answers you can get next month. What day is it? Janmashtami, September 6th. You can have all the answers for that question. So I revealed this secret. So please be ready. September 6th is the biggest festival, Krishna Janmashtami. Now in ISKCON it's very grand. Please attend there. And there are many other festivals lined up. Kartik month, so many festivals. Also this our Asinkaruna Prabhu. He has another congregation where they are celebrating on September 12th, Tuesday, which is a weekday. So September 12th, but it's a bigger festival on that day. So I have the details and he has the details. If you want to contact him, you can attend that. That is on September 12th. Mark your calendars. Then another thing is again, so as I said at the beginning of the session, that our dearest congregation member, Achyuta Priya Mataji, her mother-in-law is very critical state. Okay, so please let's all chant one time Hare Krishna mantra and pray for her well-being. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. So little housekeeping. Now we'll end the session here. We all are hungry. So if I talk more, they'll become angry. So little housekeeping things. I have put the labels there. So once you have your prasadam, so throw the trash, the remaining things from your plate in that bin, and then you can go over that label. Okay, you'll understand. So one more thing I forgot. Okay, sorry. Yes, as I said, today everything. So the entire prasadam is cooked by one family. They didn't allow us to do anything. So it's Vijaya Mataji, Basavaraj, and their two sons, Sutirth and Samarth. For their well-being, they are serving us, all the Vaishnavas. That was their deep desire, and today it came true. So let's all chant one time Mahamantra for their well-being. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you again. I think I got everything. Hari Bol. So let's break for prasadam.
Start with please.
Mahaprasade Govinde, Mahaprasade Govinde, Namo Brahmani Vaishnave, Namo Brahmani Vaishnave, Shampa Punyavatam Rajan, Shampa Punyavatam Rajan, Vishwashanai Bajayate, Vishwashanai Bajayate, Sharira Abhidya Jal, Sharira Abhidya Jal, Janendriya Tahe Kal, Janendriya Tahe Kal, Jibe Fele Vishwa Sagare, Jibe Fele Vishwa Sagare, Tar Madhye Jibayati, Tar Madhye Jibayati, Luba Maya Sudarmati, Luba Maya Sudarmati, Take Jeta Katina Sangsare, Take Jeta Katina Sangsare, Krishna Bara Dayamay, Krishna Bara Dayamay, Hari Bare Jipa Jai, Hari Bare Jipa Jai, Saprasadana Dilabai, Saprasadana Dilabai, Sheyana Mrita Pao, Sheyana Mrita Pao, Sri Radha Krishna Guna Gao, Radha Krishna Guna Gao, Mimida Chaitanya Nitai, Mimida Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda, Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Mahaprasad ki Jai. Jai Gaura Sharan dasa ki Jai. Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hari Hari Bol. So humble request, Prabhu, Gaura Sharan Prabhu, please come back again.
Yes,
We'd like to see you quite often. Thank you. Hare Krishna.